in episode 129. And welcome into the Bench is Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants.
And I am David Contreras, representing the side of the Dodgers. You know, the good side, the better side, the good guys.
That's a really shitty movie. So a lot of stuff is happening. I feel like dominoes are maybe starting to fall. Who knows, Dave? But
Hopefully.
We know one thing: a trade has been made. Dylan Cease is now a San Diego Padre. Are you shaking in your baby seal boots or not?
Shaking? No. I think it's a good move. I think it's a solid move for the Padres, but I'm not shaking my boots.
Not even a little bit.
He doesn't do well versus lefties, and we got pretty good lefties on our side, so I think we're okay. At least, that's all I worry about, how he does against us. I don't care how he does against anybody else.
Right. I don't know. Like, if I'm trying to think, I know if we got Dylan Cease, I would be screaming on the rooftops that he's the best in the world. I know we looked at his stats a little bit earlier before we started recording, and it wasn't as impressive last year. But then again, the White Sox are trash. So his underlying numbers did look better than his actual stat line. Obviously, win-loss record is probably a little nowadays not shit, but I don't know. Especially if you go to San Diego, their ballpark is, a little bit bigger. Do you think it's adequate replacement for Snell, or is it more lateral to you?
It's probably going to upset people, but I think it's lateral, man. So I look at the way they pitch, and they both have nasty stuff. Blake Snell and Dylan Cease are nasty, but they walk a lot of guys. And so I think that's the trade-off. They have such nasty stuff, but they can be wild. So I feel like they really just got the right-handed version of Snell. Which, I mean, it's not like it's a bad move. It's a great move, but
right.
Did they get better? I feel like they just got back to where they were last year.
Back to where you were last year without Soto.
Yeah, kind of begets the question. Why didn't they just pay Snell? And then you keep every prospect you got.
Well, it seems like they're in like a mode of like dropping salary. So I mean, Snell would have been another 35, and that brings up a good point. How much did they give up? Everyone was saying how Dylan Cease was going to have this huge haul. I don't know if it is. I mean, everyone's front office ranks prospects differently, and a Giants prospect. I believe I saw some people who have pages for Giants prospects who are saying it's more of as like a Wisenhunt, Bryce Eldridge, maybe a couple other guys. Maybe if you throw in like a little bit of a higher guy like a Arias or a Walker, that could have gotten it done. And if that could have gotten it done, I would have done it. First of all, especially like obviously the Giants need a lot of pitching right now, but I don't know, you just can't hold on to prospects like they're going to, like, you gotta trade some to get what you need. And if you're able to hang on to Kyle Harrison, you're able to hang on to Luis Matos, I would call that a win.
I mean, I get the keeping prospects, but if you go down the Padres list of players they've traded and have gone on to do great things, that list just keeps getting bigger. And they had Soto. They failed with Soto. Like, you can't tell me that an NLCS win was the goal. They had Snell. They didn't do anything with him. They didn't make the playoffs the last year with him. And they had Hader. And they, so I don't know. I mean, it's a good move, but I mean, those guys, there's the list of guys that they've traded that have gone on to either win a World Series or just been really good players could have been playing for them. Could you imagine the juggernaut team they could have had they just kept some of these dudes? But
yeah, definitely.
it is what it is. You got to give up stuff to get something back. I get it, but I mean, they better win. All these moves they make, Preller, they better win because.
Yeah, I mean they're they were. It seemed like 2 years ago they were just burning money, and they had a rich uncle that just died, and they were just buying everybody. But it seemed like this year they were really trying to cut payroll. So I don't know if the Padres are just trying to get under luxury tax, or if they're really how much payroll they're actually trying to cut. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're going to be this year? Of course, because of me probably shamelessly believing in the Giants, I'm going to say they're going to get at least third or fourth, which is probably not that realistic. But I don't care. I don't care about realistic because Giants are getting in second. It's no problem. So
Okay, I think we both agree that the best team is the Dodgers, right? In the NL West. Just for now, on paper, they are the best. But then it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, because you have the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
You have
I have
the
not made that
Giants who
statement, just to be
improved.
clear. But okay, yes, go ahead.
So he agrees. He just does. He's too shy to admit it, but he agrees. He told me.
Counsel, my lawyer has advised me not to answer that question.
And you have the Diamondbacks. You have it's going to be a dogfight between you three teams. I don't
Right,
think there's going to be a clear number two. I don't think they've pulled themselves
right.
away to be that number two yet.
And not only that, when they were at the height of their game, it seemed like they were still fighting for. We fought with them for third place. So, it's a new year. You got a full year of Tatis. I'm not dumb. I know Tatis, Machado, Xander Bogaerts can go off at any time. You know what I mean? Like that lineup is legit. But at the same time, Bogaerts didn't really do shit last year, and I'm expecting rebound from Manny, but that's a whole nother deal. But you know what? Fuck the Padres. We don't need to keep talking about them all fucking day.
Yeah, let's move on from these dudes.
Let's move on from. Let's talk about maybe even. I got a question for you to close out around the league.
Okay.
With all these injuries, when it comes to Garrett Cole, Devin Williams, I guess Devin Williams doesn't really come into play, but does that mean we're finally going to see Montgomery and Snell signed this week?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think it's gonna be a situation where it was with Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrell, where they don't get signed till after the draft in June?
Maybe it's just everything
Shit.
has lined up perfectly for Scott Boras. We've been talking about him for the last two episodes about like how it's just not been a good off season for him. But
Right.
suddenly you got all these pitchers getting injured. You've got guys coming out of off the trade market now. Like who's left? You got Montgomery and you got Snell. Like so, if you need a top of the line starter, which the Yankees do, who's left? It's just those two guys. So he can just sit back and be like, "This is what we want. You either give it to me or we're gonna wait. We waited this long. He's not gonna be ready for the regular season anyways. So the start of it.
Right.
So it's a couple more weeks of waiting.
I don't know, man. There's been a couple times where, I mean, and don't believe anybody till you hear the GOAT. Until Jeff Passan drops, he's not signing. You keep on hearing reports, oh, they're finalizing a deal with the Giants, Blake Snell, which I don't think he's signing with the Giants. But then you hear reports, oh, he's definitely signing with the Angels. It's going to happen in the next 48 hours. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I think that it's so bad for the game, and I'm honestly, I'm sick of hearing the name Blake Snell. I won't be sick of hearing it if the Giants do sign him or Jordan Montgomery. I'm not going to be sick. I'm gonna scream my head off about him. But at this moment, I don't even want to hear the words.
It's just crazy, man. We're gonna have a regular season game being played, and he's still not gonna be signed. Potentially not be signed. And
major free agents for the NFL have signed, and there's still major free agents from baseball that have not signed.
It's crazy. But I mean, he even posted those eyes where it's like, oh, okay, he's definitely signing in the next couple of hours or something. Something's happening. Nothing.
Maybe just went over our heads because we're not 12 years old and we don't play Fortnite.
Maybe.
So maybe that's a Fortnite thing. I don't know. Googly eyes means I don't even know. Do you kill people in Fortnite? Do you build shit? I don't even know.
I won't have you disrespecting Fortnite though. It's a good game.
You do play Fortnite. Okay. Okay. Well, if he did something that was a reference to Super Smash Brothers in Nintendo 64, then I would be on the same plane with you. But I do not have that in front of me. So I think we're done with around the league because fuck around the league. I think we need to talk about your Los Angeles Dodgers because a lot of stuff is happening in Dodgerland, meaning and mainly that there's one guy that showed up on some travel team that dominated the best hitters of your lineup. I think it was. Um, some guy from some Asian league was just like
some rogue pitcher. He just came out of nowhere,
telling guys what he's pitching and then shoving it down their throat. It must have been the best because he was saying it was the Dodger hitters, so it had to be the best pitchers on the Dodgers. I would imagine. I mean, best hitters of the Dodgers. I'm sorry, I don't want to disrespect.
So we're talking about Trevor Bauer here, right?
We're talking about Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer. Man, I don't know.
Trevor, they took my job, Bauer.
I saw the video and him calling out his pitches. I'm like, he's going gimmicky again. Why? Like, if he really wants a job, just go pitch, whatever. I mean, people are still gonna talk trash, regardless of what you do, what you don't do. But like, why do you gotta be all gimmicky? Like, sure, for the people there, maybe they had fun, but I'm like, he's same old Trevor. I don't think he's gonna change. I still think some random person is gonna set him off, and he'll go off on them on Twitter. So, and he was going against minor leaguers. Like, I don't know if you want to brag about it. Like,
that's what I was saying.
They're still honing their craft. They're still trying to get better, and you're like, yeah, I struck all of them out. Okay, cool.
Just so you know, because no one knows this and only players know this, but not a lot of people show up to these backyard games where minor leaguers play. But when I pitched, look at this huge crowd that I brought. Yeah, Trevor, if you're just gonna pitch in the minor leagues, then yeah, you might draw a crowd more than other minor leaguers. That is probably true. Would you bring more fans to Major League Baseball at this moment? Yeah, because you have some like cult following at the moment, so sure. But to brag, just brag about the dominance of minor league players when you're saying, which in all honesty, if it was just based on his talent, I believe he would be pitching. I think he would be picked up, and I'm not sure if he's like a star Cy Young guy anymore, but I think he would definitely be picked up. The problem is not the pitching. The problem is you've done terrible shit. No one wants this bad PR nightmare. Nobody wants to touch you with a 10-foot pole. I don't know, man. At this point, I feel like she's not that into you. That's me.
It's interesting because like we have players like Ozuna, you have players like Chapman, you have players like, I'm not sure if Domingo Germán got another job or not, but you have guys that keep getting chances.
Right.
And, they've done horrible things in their own right, that probably should warrant them not playing the game.
Correct.
Anymore. It should be a privilege. And if you fuck up, you shouldn't be there.
I completely agree that they shouldn't be playing right now.
When Urias, I was a fan of Urias, and when he had the first incident, I was like, well, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Right. But then there's a problem because then it happened again. It's like, man, now I feel really, really stupid because the first time, as much as I give you the benefit of the doubt, you must have done it too. Like, it's a pattern.
Right.
So it's that risk of these guys. That's the risk of Trevor Bauer. Like, you don't know what could happen again. And
yeah, there's more accusers. There's more accusers out there. Like, no one wants to pay a guy. I understand it's incentive based. That's the contract he's been screaming on the internet for. But it's like, why would any team want to get in that PR nightmare? And then on top of that, can get suspended again with the cases and the accusations you have out that have not been addressed. So I don't know. I don't think anyone's gonna hit him with a 10-foot pole. I don't care if he was hitting 105 with crazy sink and all this movement. I don't think anyone's touching him.
I mean, if anybody touches him, it's got to be the Yankees. I mean, they need a pitcher,
right?
And if they're not going to pay up for Snell and they're not going to pay up for Montgomery, maybe they take a flyer on him. But I don't see anybody else taking a risk.
Right? Yeah, I agree. I know that if I was, which I'm pretty qualified to make decisions for the Giants. They should probably just hire me, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
that
give young
ain't worth
pitchers
it.
a chance, I guess, other than
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do think of going back to the Urias thing, it's like, man, he was 27 going into this free agent. Imagine the bag he would have got. And he would have probably been a huge story. So I think about that from time to time, like, damn, dude, like we would
it
be
was.
on
It,
Urias watch as well as Yamamoto and Shohei. I'm not on that level, but definitely more than a Blake Snell level.
well, I think it'd probably be. I don't know if he'd be signed right now because they'd probably still be waiting on Snell, and he's a Boris client.
Oh, I
He was
don't.
a Boris
Yeah, he's a
client
Boris
too,
client, so
so
I can see that. I think he's above. I think he'd be above Snell, obviously for age, but I think I mean he didn't really have the greatest year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year. But beforehand, I mean, he's good. So I don't know.
I knew
I'm
he
not
wasn't going
sure.
to come back as a Dodger. Like I had made up my mind. I knew that was the last year we're going to see him. But
Right.
then that news dropped, and I was like, well, yeah, now we're definitely not going to see him
Yeah.
for the rest of this year. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and it sucks he will not be pitching for Team. Well, he might be pitching for Team Mexico. I don't know if they care about that. I mean, like the WC portion of it, but that's a whole nother story. Let's not get into that.
let's move past it. Let's move
Let's
past
move past it. Let's talk about more Dodger problems and the fact that Gavin Lux can't throw a baseball. Are you more worried about Mookie Betts playing shortstop or Gavin Lux throwing from second to first base?
I'm not equally worried. I'm a little worried about both.
Hmm.
I'm worried about Mookie. I don't want him to get hurt at all. So I thought second base was fine.
Right.
But he's an athlete. He's a freak. He plays anywhere and he'll play it well. You tell him to play first base and he'll figure a way out to play it well.
I don't know. He's like
Lux,
5 foot flat, so he probably won't play first base that great.
he's got hops, man. He's got
That's
some
true.
hops. And with the throws that Muncy and Lux make, he's gonna have to be diving around to make those.
Exactly.
But yeah, Lux is. I mean, he hasn't played in what over a year, and he's got to get back into it. And I know that's a lot of people are like, no, he's always been bad, but he hasn't been this bad. Like it's
Right.
every throw. You could see him thinking like, okay, I need to slow down, but then he slows down too much. Then he barely lobs it. Like he's stuck in his head right now. So
Mhm.
hopefully he figures it out because I think his bat will play well in this lineup, batting ninth or wherever it is that they're going to bat him.
Right.
But yeah, it's rough. It's rough to watch him throw right now, and
Right.
I feel like he could get Freddie injured or somebody hurt with a bad errant throw, and that's what
Mm,
scares me. That's what
right.
scares me too, because yeah, we saw what happened to Muncy a couple years ago. A bad
Exactly.
throw, and he was gone from the playoffs, and that hurt.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing that I was thinking of. And yeah, I think Mookie has played some short. I think from what I understand, he actually was pretty good. I didn't watch the games, but I haven't seen anything saying he was bad. When you were watching Metro, did he look natural? Did he look like it was too much for him?
No, he looks like a guy that needs to just get adjusted to it. He made a couple
Okay.
errors, but
Okay.
his throw when he did make the plays, it looked pretty like he's done it before. Like it looked
Okay.
natural. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, that's probably going to be hopefully the way that teams can exploit the Dodgers. Maybe hit it up the middle. Maybe Mookie's not that great at moving back and forth. Maybe you hit it to the right side and Gavin Lux can't catch it or throw the ball. So, could be a cheat code. We shall see. But you know what? Enough talking about the Dodgers. I'm done. I'm done talking about it because we're going to talk about how the Giants are apparently a terrible organization who cheats people out of money.
Thank God.
Um,
Finally, it's coming to light. Finally.
um, they have been cheating me out of money for a long time because I still have not been paid for my year-long service, my years of long service. But I honestly don't really understand how maybe I don't understand the severity of the situation and what it means when it comes to losing an arbitration case and being able because you could just non-tender a guy. You know what I mean? So like I don't see this as like the worst thing in the world. Maybe I just don't, maybe I don't have the understanding of it, but because he can get another job. I, for one, was extremely shocked that he had negative trade value where no one was willing to pick up his money because obviously they're giving him away for free. It's not like he was going to I mean, I didn't expect him to get a haul. I was expecting them to be able to trade him if they wanted to trade him for, I don't know, cash, maybe a lottery prospect. Um, maybe some international signing money because they need some after the Matt Chapman debacle, and they're supposed to sign like one of the top international prospects this year. So, but I was shocked that they couldn't find a home for him. But I mean, in that case, that means you aren't really that worth it, which I
I
think
mean,
he is worth it.
is it
I'm not.
shocking
I'm
though?
talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, is it shocking though? Because I mean, once they got Chapman, you knew that he might not have a spot anymore. So why not just wait it out, see if they had to cut him, and instead of giving anything up, you just get him, just pick him up for something much less
But
money.
but no matter what, if a player has value, a team that has a need for a third baseman or a first baseman, I think he's worth $7 million. I did not think that it was going to end this way. I'll be honest with you. I understand. I mean, hopefully he does get picked up by a team, and if he does, and he gets his $6 million back, then who really cares? Why is this? I'm wondering why this is a story about how the Giants are a bad organization because of this. Maybe I just don't understand it fully, but it's like you can still go out and get your contract. So with
I
players
think it's
going out and getting injured, like
no. I
if
mean,
you're
he had already won his case, didn't he?
yes,
He had
he
already
won the
won it.
case.
So to go back and be like, oh well, we have this, we can do this, and you don't get anything. You get this much. I would be pissed too.
Yeah, but you can also be non-tendered, and that's not necessarily a seen as like, oh, you're a bad organization. I guess that means you give them more time to get signed, but at the same time, spring training, people are getting hurt. Opportunities, open up when you don't realize opportunities open up. So
I mean, and
I
it
don't
wasn't.
know.
I don't think it was just that. I think it was the fact that they operated in bad faith. I think the well, I mean, I guess you can take it with a grain of salt because it is his agent, but he
Right.
said that he's like, I've never seen anybody negotiate like this. They gave us their offer an hour before we had to go into whatever it was.
I think that was out. From what I understand, well, this is Farhan's quote that I'm reading off memory, so I don't really remember it too well. But it was like, well, we offered this much, and then they said it had to be 7, and then we came back with higher, but not at 7. And then from what I thought they said that they came back an hour beforehand and was like, it's 7 million or nothing. So then they just lived and died with I think they offered like 6.5 million, or there were like 50,000 dollars off or something from 6.9. So I don't know. I feel like that's just business, even though it's maybe not. I mean, I would have more of a problem with it if this was like Brandon Crawford's last year, or if this was, I don't know. So I mean, he's been a part of the team for just a couple years. He had a decent year last year, but like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's a huge deal. I mean, it's unfortunate. I do like JD Davis, and I hope he gets a job somewhere and all that kind of stuff. And I'm rooting for him, kind of. But
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know. I think
ultimately
this is more of a nothing burger.
I was about to say the exact same words. I think it's a nothing burger. I feel like we're not in the arbitration process. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's said
Mm,
about players from teams that's probably not good, but we don't hear it. So,
right.
they're not the first team to probably do this, but
Yeah, that's
it's the
true.
Giants. So, I mean, everything they do is bad, and that's hopefully nobody trades with them because of this, and nobody
Yeah,
does business with them, nobody signs with them.
Michael Jackson bad. I love Michael Jackson. Um, but yeah, let's go back to break down these rosters, man. Obviously you don't know who's gonna be playing on your infield. It's a huge mystery on what's going on with this Dodger infield. Let's hear about it. Break down the Dodger infield for me, Dave. Let me know who I have to hate.
You don't have to hate any of them, man. You
I
can
do.
love these guys.
I don't need to.
uh, so I mean, I'm pretty happy with Freddie Freeman at first. Everybody should be happy with the constant. You know what you're gonna get out of him. He's gonna be there. I think he took like 10 days off all last year or something like that. Like he plays a lot,
I
so
get it.
he's
He's a
always gonna
good
be there.
guy. All right.
Yeah. So then we get to the question marks, which is Gavin Lux, and I feel like his bat will play. I feel like that's gonna be good, but it's just the fielding getting out of his
Right.
head. And I don't think there's a deal out there right now. unless you're gonna go and put Miguel Rojas back at short and put Mookie back at second, and you just keep moving them back and forth, there's no real answer. And if you want his bat, you're gonna have to live with it for a little bit just to see if he can get out of it. If he doesn't, then maybe you change it up. But for now, I mean, they got to roll with Gavin Lux. You got to give him that chance. He hasn't played in what, a year and change, whatever, since he got hurt. So you got to give him that opportunity at least. And then Mookie, I mean, like I said, he can play anywhere and he'll be fine. I have no problems with him at shortstop. He's got a great arm, and he'll adjust. He'll be fine, I think. And I like it because I did not want Lux and Muncy on the same side of the infield. That is just trouble. I troll Muncy a lot, but I mean, if the guy can give you 30 home runs, 100 RBIs plus, you can live with 10 errors. So right. If Lux can do that, if Lux can do some of that, like get on base, steal bases, then you can live with some errant throws. But
right.
If neither of those are working, then you're gonna have to look to change some things up. So I'm confident on two pieces of the infield, which is Mookie and Freddie. The other two, I know what I'm going to get from Muncy. I know that he's going to make some bad throws. He's going to miss some balls. But at the same time, you get 30 home runs and 100 RBI plus. So you can live with that. But you can't have two of those guys. You can't have two guys that are hurting your infield constantly and making your pitchers face more than they have to, more batters than they have to, because it's a bad recipe. Yeah, so if I had to grade this infield, I'm giving them a C+.
C+.
Yeah. Only because there's question marks with Lux. If Lux was more, if he was playing better, I'd give them a solid B, because again, I don't like that Mookie has to play short.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of necessity, out of instead of whatever. But yeah, I really wish Gavin Lux had just taken off with a job at short and we'd be set. But instead, we're going with question marks to Korea.
Most excited about this infield?
Mookie. Definitely Mookie. I feel like he's going to give us a couple of highlight plays, and he's just going to be he's already in the top 10 without having played an inning on those lists, which, whatever. Right. Those lists don't matter, but right. It could be exciting, but at the same time, I don't want him to go too hard. I don't want him to get injured. Save your body for the playoffs, Mookie.
And biggest concern?
It's got to be Lux.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be Lux, because even in spring training, he was, he's making some bad throws on routine plays. Like, if that's a problem, then oof, I don't know. Where do we go from there? Because, we're going to end up with Rojas again, which is not bad, but that's it's another bat that's like Austin Barnes. You're not getting anything offensively. You're just getting a glove.
Well, thank you for giving me hope. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel very good.
I gotta be a realist, man. I can't just be on here and just say like, yeah, they're gonna be great. They're not gonna make any errors. Like, yeah, I can't be like you, who thinks they're gonna go to the World Series and they're gonna win it all.
100%. Let's turn into to the homer of the podcast. This infield is the best infield I've ever seen in my life. Everybody on here is just the best of the best people. Breaking it down, you got Wilmer and Lamont Wade probably platooning at first. Tyro Estrada at second. Matt Chapman at third, and you got a big fat question mark at shortstop. Luciano was supposed to take the reins of this. And going into my biggest concern is the shortstop position of this infield. Luciano was supposed to take the reins. He's the top prospect. He's still very young, so it's not like it's alarming. Is he really a guy? I just think right now he's just not ready. Usually you don't really look too much into spring training stats. I get it, but when you got like 10 at bats and you're striking out 9 times, I think.
Real quick. If only you guys had like a veteran to like help him out and be like a stopgap. If only, right? Like, if only there was somebody out there that you guys could have brought back.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like if Crawford's there, then I don't know. I guess technically you're right, but at the same time, if Crawford's hitting 100, you can't DFA him. You just can't, and you could do that with Nick Ahmed. Nick Ahmed's having a good spring. I think it's his job at the moment, but especially because Casey Schmidt and Tyler Fitzgerald are not exactly running away with the job either. I think you got to give it to Nick Ahmed. And if Casey Schmidt or Tyler Fitzgerald or Marco Luciano starts tearing up at a AAA, you can send Nick Ahmed wherever the fuck, anywhere you want him to go. You can't do that with Brandon Crawford. You know what I mean? That's so true. Like, hands are tied. So that's my biggest concern. What are you going to get at the shortstop position? Is Nick Ahmed close to the guy who won the Gold Glove a couple years ago? What kind of offense are you going to really look for? I mean, the last 2 years, offense for the shortstop position has not been good. So, if you're getting just league average offense, if Nick Ahmed can provide that, if Casey Schmidt can get hot and provide that, then you're better than you were last year. Moving on to better things, to being the most excited portion of it, it's got to be Matt Chapman. I think you know what you get when you're talking about Wilmer and Lamont Wade. They're going to kill their splits. Wilmer is one of the best hitters against righties. Lamont's one of the best hitters against. Wait, switch opposite. That. You know what opposite. I meant. Wilmer's one of the best hitters against lefties. Wade's one of the best hitters against righties. Tyro, I think he can definitely be better, but he can also be. I think he's going to be about. What you're going to get from him. You're hopefully going to get about 15 home runs and, hopefully maybe like 20-ish type steals. And he's going to be a solid bat and play some solid defense at second. But Matt Chapman, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do, because obviously, you're going to get some of the best infield defense in baseball, which makes me super horny. But looking at his stats, I mean, if you're looking at the home runs he's had, and obviously, besides his couple years at Toronto, he's played at in Oakland, big ballpark. So, I mean, his last in full seasons, 24 home runs, 36 home runs, 27 home runs, 27 home runs, and then 17 last year with a down year. I'm really excited to see what Matt Chapman you're going to get. I know he's not the perfect player as far as offensively, but he's damn near a perfect player when it comes to defense. And he's going to make the whoever takes over that shortstop position look a little better because he covers a whole lot of ground. So super excited to see some Matt Chapman. Obviously, for the depth, you got Fitzgerald, Schmidt. They did trade for Otto Lopez and see what Luciano can do, but I guess it really depends how Nick Ahmed does and if these guys can knock on the door and take over if Nick Ahmed ain't shit. But if we're looking for grades, I really hate that you gave... I feel like you're a spoiled Dodger fan, giving Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman a C. You gave him a C+ grade, didn't you?
I mean, I feel like Gavin Lux's defense and Muncie's defense kind of bring it down a little bit. As much as you want to hype them up, because I feel like this is the Giants...
Right, I get what you're saying, because it's a lot of high and low. I feel like the Giants game is, let's get everyone who is middle. There's no one's coming up and it's like, oh shit, this is our star, this is our guy, he's gonna hit 40 bombs and hit over 300. But a lot of guys are gonna be like 250, 260 and hit 15, 20 maybe. Like that's what their upwards trajectory is. I think I feel like I should give this a C+. I don't know if that's me being a homer, but I feel like everyone's on the same plane. The only thing that can maybe bring it down. All right, you know what? Because of the shortstop position, I'm going to reconsider and I'm going to give it a C-. Typed it in the notes right there. Do you hear that type? C-.
There's no way that if I'm saying the Dodgers are C+, that you think that they're C-. That's like way too close.
But you just said yourself how shitty Gavin Lux is, and your third base defense is going to be terrible with Max Muncy.
I did not say any of that.
you said that you hate the Dodgers, and Gavin Lux can't throw. I'm sorry, we have the better defense on the infield for sure. The only place that you'd get us on defense would be at first base. But and offensively, fuck, Mook. I just feel maybe you fucked this up because you probably should at least give it a B. Like I don't think that this is a D infield. I think it's a C. I give it a C minus. I'm whatever. I'm right.
bumping it up. I'm
right. To a B. You're wrong. C minus Giants infield. I'm not a homer. Maybe I am.
I mean, and we do have depth. We do have Geeke. We do have Taylor in case, but I'd rather
our depth is more
success.
Right. I think our depth is more prospects, are they ready? The upside is there with, especially when you come to Luciano. Schmidt defense. Fitzgerald's for sure going to be a utility guy if he ever gets like really ready to be a major leaguer. But yours is a lot more proven, but it also is not star. Well, then again, no depth would technically be star, but whatever, dude. I know it's better, but C minus is a fair grade. All right, I'm gonna stand on that to the.
You have no shortstop.
We kind of have a shortstop. It's not Mookie Betts. Technically, you don't have a shortstop either. Okay,
I'm being too low. I'm being too low on mine, and you're being way too high on yours. So
I don't know.
Be in the middle somewhere.
I feel like I'm solid and I'm right about all things, and then you are just.
I'd rather be
spoiled
wrong.
Dodger fan. That's what
I'd rather be wrong in a good way. So I'll put my expectations lower, and
so you don't get hurt.
Evan Lux exceeds those, we'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, so you don't get hurt. Well, I'm ready to get hurt every year, so I'm fine with that. I don't think you guys even have a DH. We can even skip this part for the Dodger portion. We don't have to go over the DH portion if you don't want to. But if you want to talk about the no-name guy you got for DH, I guess if you know who that is, you can maybe talk about him if you want.
I feel like we're going to have to pencil in, 60 home runs or something?
Oh,
60, 65 home runs?
Up. Shut the fuck up. 60?
Hey, you wanted me to be a homer. Here's the homer.
If he had 60 home runs, I'm shaving my head, which would be very scary because I'm already losing a bunch. So I don't know if he'll ever come back. But
I'm gonna clip that clip, and when he's at 50, and when he's at 59, when he's at 50, we're gonna start a countdown.
A countdown, yeah.
Jesse's Harris countdown. I can't talk.
That's a clip.
It'll be funny.
Yes.
He's going to get 60 for sure. This he's only focused on hitting this year. Can you imagine? Like, he doesn't have to worry about pitching, which kind of sucks because I would love to see him pitch, but I have to wait another year. But Shohei Ohtani it's going to be bonkers, dude. He's got protection finally. And,
you know what though? Some people they'll overthink. He's gonna hit 20 home runs. I don't know. I can't even.
There's no way.
But he's gonna overthink it, and he's not hitting 60. That's what my stance is.
He's hitting.
If he was in a Giants uniform, he'd hit 80 home runs. But yeah, that's fine. You can.
Not in that ballpark. Not in that one.
Asian Barry Bonds, dude. He's fine.
No, man. I think so. He's got Mookie in front of him. He's got Freddie behind him. Like he's never had this protection. He had Trout with him, but I think Rendon for the most part was like hurt most of the time. So like, and then Trout was hurt too. So last year it was just him.
Right. So, yeah. I guess so. I mean, to say he had no protection, that would be wrong. But yes, the Dodgers give him better protection. So I'll concede
won't say
a little
he
bit.
had no protection, but the fact that Trout was gone for that last part of the year and Rendon wasn't interested in playing. It was just him and a bunch of prospects, young guys. Then, you just have to. I don't know why they pitched to him last year. Like, he was the one guy that can kill you, and they still pitched to him.
Right. I mean, in all honesty, if he didn't pitch to him, that'd be so bad for the game. But I'm not sure how we're going to do this because it's technically one person. Most excited.
I don't know who, man. Number 17, of course, man.
You're
every
excited
time he comes up there, you think
60,
he's going to do something special. You just know he's going to do something special, and then he does it. So It's gonna
What's
be a
your
man of
biggest
the year, man.
concern about a Mr. Shohei Ohtani? What are you concerned about when you look into those eyes?
Do I have any concerns about him? I don't. I really don't. I think this guy's like eats, breathes, sleeps baseball,
Mm,
and I guess health. I mean, that's just the cop out because that's everybody. But he's just like so good up there, man. I don't have any concerns. That's the one guy that I'll be like, yeah, man, I don't have to worry about him. He's just gonna do what he's gonna do.
right. Well, if Shohei Ohtani gets hurt, who's been at DH? You're probably just gonna do the giving guys breaks type deal. I'm guessing, right?
Why are we even suggesting that he's gonna get hurt?
I'm not hoping for that. I don't have a voodoo doll that's poking him and hoping that he gets hurt. I'm just saying.
I mean, if he did get hurt, unfortunately we just have to deal with like having Mookie and Freddie
Right.
Freeman and Max Muncy and Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez.
Right.
So yeah, I think we'd be okay.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the better DH. Obviously, it's Jorge Soler. I'm actually really excited about Jorge Soler. I think if you look at all the DHs around the league, I know it's really hard to compare because you think about it and it's like you talk about Shohei Ohtani, then Jorge Soler. Yeah, obviously it's a major downgrade. But if you're looking around the league, there's no real just straight DHs that are better, that are like mountains better than him that I can think of at the moment. I might be drawing a blank, but usually most teams just use it as a rotating option anyways.
Maybe Schwarber.
Um, I I don't know. Do you love Schwarber that much though? Like hitting 100 but hitting 40 bombs?
I mean, give me the bombs. I'll live for the bombs.
Yeah,
Those
but
are
I don't know. I think I would rather take a little more consistency and if there was someone that can hit 30 home runs, it would either be Schwarber or Jorge Soler. I'm really excited for Jorge Soler. Obviously, most excited that he's probably going to break the 30 homer curse. Obviously, everyone's talked about how the Giants haven't had a 30 home run guy since Barry Bonds, and then even then, right-handed, have to go back technically a little bit more to Jeff Kent. So, I'm really hoping that curse is
he's not gonna do
broken.
it.
Somebody's gonna do it, or else I'll shave my head. No, I won't. But I mean, my biggest concern is obviously he's very streaky. He strikes out a whole lot, and if you're just looking for straight offense, you like a little more consistency. But I mean, unless you have one of the best in the league, I get it. All right, but as a DH, I don't think it gets a whole lot better. Even the top teams of the league, you got Braves, Ozuna. I think Jorge Soler can have a similar season to him. You look what Giancarlo Stanton for the Yankees, and I as far as the DH position, I think when you look around the league, I think it's pretty solid. Obviously you have the depth of Wilmer Flores can hit righties as well. Obviously not as good as he can hit lefties, but if something happens, you can also throw Wilmer in there, get Conforto off his legs. I'm a huge Austin Slater truther. So
I don't think you're gonna see him in the DH a lot though. They're both righties.
not a lot. No. I'm just saying if Jorge Soler is hurt, I think Slater is potentially can get a lot more at bats than just platooning in with Yastrzemski. Technically you could even call Pablo up, let him DH. I fucking hope not, but that's definitely a possibility. But if you're looking at Jorge Soler and then the backups of Wilmer and Slater, call me a homer, dude. I don't care. I'm giving it a B-.
I think you guys obviously got better with Soler, and it's a really solid move. But like you were asking me, if Ohtani were to get hurt, where do you stand? I think if it's an okay lineup. I don't know how great the Giants lineup is right now,
Right.
even with Soler.
I feel like it's very average. I think everyone is pretty, except the shortstop position, but it's everybody. Where there's I don't know. I think like everyone will be a little above average.
And if you lose Soler, I feel like that becomes below average lineup. Like I don't think you have anybody to replace him with. Not that kind of power.
Well, you can. All you got to do
Ooh.
is put Conforto to DH, right? And then, I don't know, maybe have one of the best young kids who's ready knocking on the door, Luis Matos, put him in left field. And then we just win the West.
You just walk away with the West. Yeah.
Just walk away with the West. There's nobody else. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it's
there's
a
ways to
good
move
move.
around it.
When I saw the news, I was like, damn it, this guy's gonna hit a moonshot home run against us at some point.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to see it over and over and over. But
he's gonna have the Giancarlo Stanton out of the Dodger Stadium where he's gonna hit the Coke bottle.
That's the only reason I remember Mike Bolsinger, because he gift wrapped him a ball and it's like, here, shoot it to the moon.
So I
think it was majestic.
I think you forgot to give a grade on your DH, which if you don't do it, that means I get to do it, and I'm gonna give it B- as well. I think that's pretty fair.
I think you're a little low.
We get it, okay? A+++. We fucking get it. Shohei Ohtani, whatever. Buy some pink shit. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like it's a little above average everything. So I think when it comes to the NL West, I don't know. I'm always optimistic though. I'm too optimistic, and I understand that. But I think there's a solid. I think we have a solid chance at this wild card. But we also have a lot more to get to. We're going to talk about catchers and starting pitching next week.
Yes, we are. I'm really excited to talk about Joey Bart, man. Really excited.
Joey Bart's hitting like 400 in spring training, but yeah, we could talk about it. Maybe by that time he'll also be let go, because I felt like he had. I'm very interested to see what his trade value is. But I feel the same way that I felt about JD Davis. I feel like, well, then again, Bart's his contract is still league minimum, so I think he would at least be able to get you lottery prospect, maybe some cash, maybe some international signing. I don't think it will be a DFA. It could possibly be a DFA. If he hasn't been traded yet, it probably means he doesn't have that much trade value. But the thing is the catching position is just way different than any other position, because you're not expected that much offense in his potential and pedigree. But that's a conversation for next week.
And maybe by next week we'll have a little bit more clarity on Will Smith, who was scratched today because he had a back tightness. So hopefully he's okay. If not, we're gonna watch a lot of Austin Barnes, which I'm not gonna be happy about. But
Dodger Giant trade? Hey, we'll give you Joey Bart. You give me, I don't know, one of the guys you talked about today.
You
like
want
the DH guy? The DH guy. He doesn't even play a position. Just give me the DH guy, and we'll be fine.
Seems like a fair deal.
That's what I like. But yeah, come join us next week where we talk about how great Joey Bart is, and how he's going to bring us back. The greatest pitcher you've ever seen. Who knows? We'll be starting pitching, catchers, and it's going to be technically Dodgers opening day preparation pod. So
exactly. I will not sleep that day. I'm just going to stay up and wait till 3 and then probably knock out in the first inning because I stayed up to wait.
Well, if you fall asleep, you can wake up to us talking about it, and it's going to be great. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform. Follow us on Instagram, Benches Clear Podcast, Twitter, Benches Clear P, and TikTok, Benches Cleared. Play the motto, Dave.
What Jesse said.
Damn right. See you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.